Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Game Week 12 Deadline stream, and it's live. Hope you're all well on this Friday evening. It's 5:30. It's an hour to the deadline for FPL Game Week 12. Load up the comments with your questions ahead of the Game Week deadline. I'll get as many of you covered as I can. While I'm in progress, I'm listening to myself back. Allow me to share links with the community. While I do that, I will tell you the transfer that I've made for this game week. I have sold Bruno Fernandes for Mohamed Salah. Armband is on Salah. I am 4-3-3. Johnston in goal over Martinez. Back four of Walker Peters, Luke Ayling, Ruben Diaz and Andrew Robertson. Midfield three of Salah, captain Grealish, Heung-min Son up front, Che Adams, Harry Kane, vice captain Dominic Calvert-Lewin. It was an extremely close call between Luke Ayling and Thomas Souček. I have no doubt that at some point during this stream, someone's probably going to ask me about that, so I'll hold back on it. As ever, guys, graphics on the stream by my man, FPL Captain. He's the star of the show, the secret MVP. Bottom right-hand corner of the screen, you will see my top 10 captains for the game week in order of preference. The name in second may be a surprise to many. I very, very nearly bought him. Right, it's 59 minutes to the deadline. This stream will run until then. I've got 10 minutes afterwards, and it'll literally only be 10 minutes, and I'll take on some questions outside of FPL stuff. But let's get into the questions, see what help you need. Jeremy Khaled is first in, says, "Hi James, only one question for me. Robbo or TAA, and who would you buy this week and why?" Great question. If I was to buy one and owned neither, I would buy Trent. I'd take the view on it that pre-season I would have paid anything for Trent. I wouldn't pay anything for him now, but pre-season I would have paid anything for him. They're the same price now. He is the one that's capable of having that mad day like at Leicester on Boxing Day last year. So if it was a call between the two, I feel like he got enough minutes in the week to believe that he'll start. So I would go Trent. Why am I getting an error message? It's gone. Sorry, guys. Pushcar says, "I have 1.5 million in the bank. Can make Jota to Mahrez for a -4. Will hold Mahrez till the end of game week 15. What do you think?" I think, how confident are you in Mahrez starting tomorrow? And if he starts tomorrow, does he start on Tuesday? I think Riyad Mahrez is probably in a zone for me that I would treat as don't sell, don't buy. If you've got, great, and to be honest, if you're a Mahrez owner, you're probably not even bothered if he gets left out tomorrow. You're probably thinking, great, I'll have some of that for Tuesday night then. So no, wouldn't be looking for Mahrez personally. He's not the worst one, but I mean for -4 as well, and he might not even play. Not for me, I'm afraid, Pushkar. Tifo Ferrero says, "Can Sheffield United upset Southampton on Sunday? Chris Wilder is a good manager." We had a really fascinating chat with FPL Blade on yesterday's Clash to Correspondence. He obviously wants Wilder to stay. I don't think there's any plans from Sheffield United's perspective to change that either. I expect him to stay in the job no matter what happens, because their squad's not built up to change and play different systems in any case. It hardly feels worthwhile to even look at changing it. You'd have to get another manager in who basically played the same system. Can they surprise on Southampton? Yeah, look, one thing we must remember about Sheffield United last season was the amount of shock results they had. They beat Chelsea at home, Tottenham at home, Arsenal at home. I think they drew away to all three of those sides as well. So, look, if they get it right on the day, then great. The problem they've got is the goalkeeper's inferior to last season. They're not scoring goals. The midfield's had a serious drop-off in its energy levels, and Jack O'Connor, as Tomo said yesterday, is as big a miss to them as it would be to anybody else losing their key player, I guess, and it's completely nullified their attack down the left-hand side of the pitch. Can they upset them on Sunday? Yeah, sure. Southampton can leave themselves exposed. I don't know if Sheffield United have the players particularly to do it though, and Saints did beat them twice last year. Hard pressed to not think Southampton will win. The Emerald Pilot says, "Decided to get Salah. My transfers of Fernandes to Salah and Vardy to forward up to 8.8. I can't decide which of them I want. Ings, Watkins, Wilson. Any advice will be appreciated." I'm going to guess from that question, my friend, you might already have Patrick Bamford. Is that no consideration for you? A lot depends on what you want to do with it. Long term, short term as well. If it's a short term option, I think Bamford and Watkins are probably the two best choices. Watkins got a great free after Wolves tomorrow, so you could suffer tomorrow, I think. If you want immediate dividends paid off, then probably Bamford is the better choice this week. So, of the ones you name, Watkins, mate. What No Graphics? Hello, James. Who would you bench? One from Concert, Justin or Lamptey? Not an easy. I'd definitely play Justin of the three. I would probably... That's really tough between Lamptey and Concert. I'm just trying to visualise Wolves conceding a goal to Villa from a set piece. I can't really see it. Then you've got the flip of that of obviously Wolves no Jimenez. The chance of a clean sheet's obviously increased. Do I expect Brighton to get a clean sheet? No. It's a tough one. I'd probably play Concert, I think, rather than Lamptey personally. But that's a really difficult one. Concert, Lamptey. I'd definitely play Justin of the three. Austin Laley says, evening James, would you start Jota or Lamptey given Jota is doubtful? Cheers. I'd play Jota. Honestly, I'd play Jota. He's got a knock. He's yellow flagged. What does it mean? We don't really know. Would it really be a shock to anyone if he still starts on Sunday? Play Jota. He could do damage to Fulham in 20. I reckon he's more likely to do damage to Fulham in 20 minutes than Lamptey is to Leicester in 90. I'd play Jota, honestly. FPL Trophy. Congrats on the awards, James. Cheers. We'll probably talk about that a bit on Monday. Much appreciated. Thanks everybody who obviously voted for us in the Football Content Awards. Yeah, I won't say any more live. Praise says, evening James, how's the day been? Do you think it's safe to go through this game without a Liverpool asset? Have a great game with it and happy birthday in advance. Hopefully Spurs make your day. Cheers. Thank you. Yeah, birthday Sunday. Another year closer to retirement maybe. Is it safe to go without them? Probably not. It is what it is. Thing is, you start, can I get Trent to cover Salah? Or can I get Robertson to cover Mane? Or all these kind of things. If you're without, you're without. Bottom line is that Mo Salah or Sadio Mane could go off and that will just damage you individually on its own. Even if you had the cover defensively, for example, I got Matip, he's cheap. If Liverpool win 4-1 and Matip doesn't score, it's not going to do you any good. So it is what it is. That they're clear and obvious for this week, I think. But I mean, can you go without them? Yeah, of course. You're on a differential. Everyone's swinging one direction. It's absolutely okay to swing in a different direction. Patrick Lawson says, good evening. Good evening, Patrick. Roseanne Fleur says, should I transfer in a Jose Perez for the next two fixtures? Not keen on that, personally, Roseanne, because that could easily change. Maddison is past fit, so we'd expect him to play. So then you've got Under, Perez and Barnes with their system competing for one spot. Not for me. I wouldn't be buying less than midfield assets at the moment personally. I would, if you're looking at that value, genuinely Rafinha. That would be the answer that I'm probably going to give to a lot of people here. Rafinha 5.4, better option in my opinion. Sean Butley says, evening James, who do you think is the best 5 million or under defender for the next 4 weeks? I'm strongly considering Stones. Is your theory on that, Sean, that John Stones might start home to West Brom and Newcastle? Is that your thinking? Diaz and Laporte are definitely the favoured two. Yes, John Stones probably will play against West Brom and probably get a clean sheet in a week. Don't think that's really the answer though. To be honest, at under 5, I'd go Ezri Konsa would be my choice. Wolves away this week. I've kind of just spoken about some of the difficulties for them going forward at the moment. Great free fixtures. So if it's for the 4 weeks, Ezri Konsa would be my shout, Sean. Finley Jack says, I own DCL and Bamford, thinking of going Richarlison to Wilson. Good move or too risky with Newcastle news? I think it's really risky, personally. I don't like, and I've made this mistake myself plenty of times in the past, I don't like buying players when I don't know what the setup's going to be. So there's 2 things here. One, you've got no clue what system they're going to play because you don't know which players are absent or not. We know that Callum Wilson is available. With Callum Wilson and Matt Ritchie available for Newcastle, and anybody else is a risk, basically. We have no clue how strong the team is or isn't going to be. The benefit is you've got Leeds away and Fulham at home afterwards. Then you need an escape again. I would not be buying Callum Wilson personally because you don't know what you're buying into. So if you're, would I rather have Richarlison or Callum Wilson this game week? I mean, on that alone, I'd probably, to be honest, I don't fancy Everton at all tomorrow. Probably Wilson, but would I buy him? Not for me. I think there's better movements from Richarlison. I've mentioned two already. Watkins, Bamford. I mean, if you're looking to target for this week, Che Adams versus Sheffield United at cheap, right? There's loads. Antonio might be back by midweek. Could be another one. West Ham's Christmas period is not bad at all. Tam May Grade says replacement for DCL apart from Bamford. Previous question. FPL Bulldog have no wild card, 2 free transfers and no major issues. What should I be doing now to prepare for game week 18-19? You should be buying a cheap West Ham United defender. If you're looking to free hit 18, double game week 19, if you haven't got the second, if you're not going to wildcard in between, you're generally looking at transfers to try and plan for that now, which is nearly impossible. We are 99% certain that West Ham are going to have a double in game week 19, which is Burnley at home and West Brom at home. And the beauty of buying a cheap West Ham defender, such as a Soufal, for example, or an Ogbonna, is they should be quite safe in terms of team selection. And obviously it's cheap enough that you can leave him on the bench if you want to. So genuinely, that would be the advice. Bevan Rosario says, hi, who should I start, McGinn or Jota? Jota is more explosive, but he played most of the game on Wednesday, and he's also flagged. More difficult one than the previous question I had on Jota. Because McGinn away to Wolves, I mean, I don't particularly fancy it. I think I'd still go Jota, you know. Honestly. Jack Wilson saying, hi, James, play Jota or Soufal? Jota. Most of these questions I'm going to get, I'm still going to say Jota, I think. The thing is as well, we might all be wrong, right? I know the assumption on Klopp's press conference this afternoon was Jota's got a niggle, so Salah now starts. But what if we're all wrong? What if we're all wrong? A lot of these questions I'm getting, the Lampteys, McGinn, Soufal, these players, you actually expect any of them particularly to return? If the answer is no, you don't fancy him at all, then the answer is just play Jota. What if he's in the team? It's not impossible. What if Klopp's lying? I mean, it wouldn't be the first or the last. FPL telling Josh, evening James, thank you for the advice and DM earlier. Oh, that's a danger. No point anyone DM me now because I ain't going to see it till after the deadline. Just here to say hey and listen for the deadline. Good luck. Thank you very much, Josh. Good luck to you too. And very surprised that Ings doesn't make your top captaincy picks. Why is that, James? Very, very simple one on that, and I don't think we can be sure that he starts. Obviously came back in the week, played 45 minutes. If you're asking me, yes, I think he probably does start. Danny Ings would be on that list if I had more confidence that he would start. So it's as simple as that. It's on a fitness thing. It could be that if he starts and he only plays an hour, for example, possibly even a 55-minute if the game's going well, another game on Wednesday, they're playing Sunday lunchtime. That's why Danny Ings is not on the list. Tommy Moody says, hi James, just done Abraham to Wilson and Jota to Mahrez. What do you think? I think I'll go to the next question. Benny Blanco, I have no questions. Unbelievably. Have a great game week, James. You too, Benny. Go tear it up in Sky as per usual, pal. Haku says, if John Lundstram leaves Sheffield United, then should Tottenham sign him in January? What for? The under-23 team? Do you know what? Tottenham, in seriousness, Tottenham could have worse squad players than that, but that's all he would be. He would be a squad player. And we have squad depth. The main issue we have in that midfield area is we don't have players who can play the role of Højbjerg or Sissoko in big games like them. So what you've seen from them tactically in almost wide defensive midfield formations in these big games recently, Harry Winks can't play that role. Cannot play it. Neither would John Lundstram be able to either. So if it built up the squad and the wages were cheap, I wouldn't hate it, but he's never going to be a regular starter, is he? Al Dante says Giroud to Wilson or wait. That's a wait. To be honest, I'd be more keen on buying Giroud this week than Wilson, personally. Chris Duckworth, what do you think? Fernandes and Jota to Salah and Souček for a -4. I think, Chris, that smells like the desperation of a man who really wants to get Mohamed Salah into his team. I said on this morning's stream that I didn't think -4 was worth it because of the uncertainty around Salah. The Jota news makes it feel a little bit more secure now. You will be so sick, Chris, if Jota starts on Sunday. I bet that I'm going to guess from what you've got, that's probably your only way in. I don't love it, but I don't hate it. I suspect that you will do it. Patrick Lawson said, would you sell one of Target or Soufal for one of Diaz or Matip ahead of game week 13? which for which. If I had those two players, I'd personally be looking to keep them as my 4th and 5th defenders. Part what I said on West Ham depends on your strategy. If